All right, welcome into episode 3 of Beyond the Three. I'm your host, Evan Baron, alongside Bryan Salmond, Jesse Merrick. All right, boys, we finally got some positive things to talk about the Vegas Golden Knights.
A lot of positivity on the show.
If you did not watch that game against the Predators tonight, got to tune into the highlights. It's crazy, you know. It seemed like they're going to drop another loss. They were entering this one into a 3-game losing streak. But Max Pacioretty saves the day, scores the game-tying goal with less than a second to go, and then take care of the rest in overtime. Stastny gets the goal. Now they're flying back to Las Vegas with some momentum. All right, guys. Bryan, we'll start with you. What's your thoughts?
We're just kind of talking about it, how the Golden Knights had a 3-game losing skid. They were not in the playoffs if the playoffs were to start now, which is whatever. But they're behind the Sharks. They're barely ahead of the Calgary Flames, and after just one game, they're now in 4th place, and the Sharks have gone down 2 spots. Man, that game was done a ton for everyone's confidence.
Yeah.
Did you see Subban after the game? Like that sound?
Yeah.
He was fired up.
Like, oh, man, it was so crazy. It was crazy. Oh, no, it wasn't. No, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, and then he was like, I blacked out. Like, you know, like, I mean, they were fired up. For him, get him his first win. He's played 7 games. I mean, you got to get the guy a win, especially with the case with Fleury right now. You know, we don't know how long he's going to be out. Obviously, praying for him and his family and everything like that. And then you got Sparks coming up. Like, Subban needs to get a win. Needs to start doing some stuff.
Yes.
But then it's not even like taking into account the fact that the Knights like needed to win too.
Yes, guys need to score goals. I mean, Pacioretty, he's been having a pretty tough season. He finally scored. Mark Stone, when he scores, the team does well. You're hearing that stat earlier tonight. Like when he scores, they do well. When he doesn't score, they don't do so well. And then Paul Stastny, I mean, that whole line, I mean, they have needed to do a little bit, so that was good to see. That was just an exciting, man, that's what you live for sports, right?
Oh, exactly, and I feel like with the way they've been struggling, you know, the last few games, what better way to get a win in that fashion? I feel like that's a win that can kind of spark, you know, some momentum going forward, you know. Now they got a great game with the Coyotes on Friday. That's a playoff team, number 2 in the Pacific Division. I feel like this could be something they could turn, you know?
I mean, Mark, you do that old cliche, mark this down on your calendar.
Yeah. That was the thing on Twitter, like everybody was saying that. I mean, I was thinking it too, that like this is something that can spark you know, remember this during the season, you know. But the big thing is like, okay, now you got a game against the Coyotes. Yeah, you have to win this game, which like sounds lame to say. But like I feel like you have to win this game now to build off of it, you know?
You have to. You got to follow it up.
Yeah.
You have to follow it up. It's just like if I don't know, like when you score a goal, you don't want them to have a goal scored right after. It takes all the momentum away.
Oh, like 39 seconds after you score?
Man, like,
because that happens tonight too,
Man, they go up 2-0 and they give up a goal 39 seconds later. But you got it. You have to build on it. You know how many times they've won 3 games in a row this season? Man, stop knowing stuff.
0.
Yes, 0 times. So you can't win 3 in a row if you don't win 2 in a row. I bet you guys didn't know that.
Look at you.
Dropping some knowledge.
Jewels, baby.
Coach speak over here.
Gems.
Well, with Fleury being out, I mean, how are you guys feeling? Are you confident that Subban can kind of carry the load for a bit?
I honestly, I think he can. Looking at the highlights of this game against the Predators, they keep giving up prime scoring chances to defense, not Subban. You can't expect them to make a save. There's 2 guys standing in front of him without a defender around him. Like, what are you guys doing?
And he wasn't perfect. Like, obviously, he's got some that he'd probably like back. But as a whole, I mean, the defense wasn't playing the same. And we've seen it this year, last year. I mean, they don't skate the same when he's in the net. They need to figure out a way to do that. You know, moving forward with him. One, just, I mean, to help the guy out because he's going to be playing this year. And you're going to need to count on your backup goaltender.
There you go.
You know? But I like Subban. I think he gets a lot of crap.
Gets way too much.
Just because he's the backup and he's not Marc-Andre Fleury. Like, realize what you've got in Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yes.
And then, you want your backup to be good, but he's not going to be Marc-Andre Fleury.
No. And who is going to be Marc-Andre Fleury?
Exactly. Like, it's a Hall of Fame goalie you got there.
How many goalies are in the NHL right now with 3 Stanley Cups?
Oh, exactly.
Probably 1.
I couldn't tell you, but I'm sure not many.
Yeah. All right.
All right, well, big game on Friday. We play the Coyotes, 3 p.m. when the puck drops, so make sure to tune in. So now we're going to switch to some UNLV football.
Yeah.
A lot of drama earlier in the week, you know. The UNLV got the W over San Jose State on Saturday. You thought maybe they'd have something, you know, going. But then the news drops on Monday that Tony Sanchez is done as the head coach.
Yeah.
Just a 19-40 overall record, but you know he'll still be able to coach out the Nevada game on Saturday. So
That's
I know we talked about it last time on episode 2 about his possible replacements, but now it's legit happening now. So what?
Yeah, it's for real. And the one thing that was crazy to me, I mean, like the timing is weird and all kinds of messed up. I know that they said that they knew on Friday leading up to the game. Yeah, he knew, and Francois told him and everything like that. But like, man, it's just a bad look the way the timing they did it. Like, if you're gonna fire him, if you know on the Friday before the San Jose State game, you know like a couple weeks before then, and if your whole thing is like, all right, we just want to get it out there and like be able to move on, then why not do it earlier? You know?
Really? Would you have preferred earlier or after the season?
I would have preferred earlier. I thought it was gonna come after the season, but also too in all this, like kudos to Sanchez for sticking around, having the same attitude that he's had the whole time. Like,
that dude, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you and I have talked about this. Like, man, you can't not like the guy off the field.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he hold a press conference to like kind of clarify everything?
Yeah.
You don't really see that happening too. I mean, he was full, embraced it all,
And not only that, because I've seen a few press conferences when guys have gotten let go and they come out and kind of face the music, so to speak. But I have never seen a press conference where a guy gets fired, has a press conference talking about him being fired, and then an hour later has a press conference about the upcoming game.
Yeah.
Where he's like talking about the game that, we're getting the guys ready and blah, blah, blah. That was weird to me that they had that press conference as well. But yeah, as Jesse said, man, you can't dislike Sanchez the man. So the coach, the man, no. And we aren't guys that spend a ton of time around him, but the time you spend around him, you remember it.
Yeah, he's great. And that's like you said though, Evan. I mean, it's for real now. So now you got to start looking to the next coach. The one thing that stood out to me at that press conference with Desiree Reed-Francois was that they're going to have a salary that's competitive.
She said competitive
in the Mountain West. So I mean,
I was about to drop a Lane Kiffin reference or saying there because he said competitive, but only the Mountain West though, so can't get those.
Yeah. So I just wonder what that's going to look like. I mean, I don't.
It's going to look like the same coach they've had here for the last. It's going to look like Bobby Houck. It's going to look like Mark Sanford. It's going to look like.
See, that's why I'm like curious. I think it's going to be different this time. I really do.
So competitive, you think they're going to get like who's a good coach that wants a competitive Mountain West salary?
Well, I mean, first we'll have to see, but I mean, like competitive in the Mountain West, I went and looked at the top like 7 just because Sanchez was number 7 at $600K a year.
Okay.
Number 1 is Mike Bobo at Colorado State, 1.8 mil a year.
1.8?
1.8 mil.
So he's not getting that.
No, he's not getting that. But then behind him, Brian Harrison at 1.65. Jeff Tedford, 1.55.
Not getting that.
Craig Bowl, 1.4 mil. Rocky Long at 5 from San Diego State with 873,000 and some change.
So he can get that and maybe a little bit more at San Diego State.
At San Diego State. Wow. But the thing, like one thing that like JT the Brick brought up to me on Twitter, because I tweeted this stuff out, and he's like, if UNLV can't be competitive with Fresno State and Wyoming in terms of salary, like,
then what are you doing?
Just get rid of football, basically.
Yes.
I mean, you have no business playing college football in Vegas if you can't be competitive with Wyoming and Fresno State.
Which are at, you said Fresno's at what?
Fresno's at 1.55, Wyoming 1.4.
Well, you know what? They should be able to be competitive with Fresno. However, Fresno has a way better history in football than UNLV does.
It does, yeah.
Like way better.
But just like on the surface level of it.
You would think so.
Yeah.
You would think.
And I mean.
But they make money though, because I mean, Fresno State has been good for.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know how good they are now. Well, they were decent this year, I believe, weren't
they weren't terrible.
But in the past, I mean, they've been a top 25 team.
Yeah.
At some
They've had a good history of it. My thing is just like, all right, but like with that, then I went and looked. Okay, so like the average salary in the Mountain West is $1 million.
So they should be able to be around there.
You should be able to be around that, like 1 to like what, 1.2, 1.3?
I say 1.2 is like tops.
I don't think they're going over $1 million, but I think 1.2 should be more reasonable.
Yes, no, I don't disagree with that. And 1.2 can get you somebody who actually wants to come. Who doesn't want to come to Las Vegas?
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want to come to Las Vegas to make $1 million a year?
And coaching that new Raiders stadium too, you know.
Come on.
That's
and
a great
with the new facilities,
point.
you got a lot to like about it. I went and looked it up too, just to see like some other guys that have kind of rumored or guys that I kind of would like for the gig.
Okay.
And I mean, there's
hit us with it, man.
Yeah, right. Well, we talked about the whole Jay Gruden thing. I put him on there.
Love it.
I think it's interesting. I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, it's
Dude
not
made
going to happen.
$10 million a year in the NFL. That was also because the Redskins gave him that money, and obviously the Redskins are the Redskins. But
$10 million a year?
Yeah.
Are you kidding
That was
me?
what I looked up and saw. Yeah, I was like, I had the same reaction in my jaw like when I looked it up.
He had to have been like one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, Dan Snyder has like
crazy.
a boatload of 10 million. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then also there, you mentioned Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
$1 million a year right now at Florida Atlantic.
So he's not coming here for 1.2.
Exactly. I've heard some rumblings on Twitter too. I think it was Joe Arrigo that tweeted out that like he had heard from his sources that that Lane Kiffin, that an offer was extended to him, but that he respectfully declined. I don't know. Again, that's just what I saw on Twitter. But with that, I'm like, all right. And I really didn't expect Lane to take the job, like you said. It's kind of a lateral move, money wise, all that.
Yeah.
Lane wants a big time job.
Of course.
This isn't that yet.
No, and he's thinking like, okay, I can hold out for a better job. He wants. I don't even know what would be a good job for Lane Kiffin anymore. But yeah, he's not coming.
Job at like a Pac-12 school, like a low-level Pac-12 school.
I'm thinking that, but like who? Because Arizona, I don't know if they need a coach. But other than Arizona, he's not getting a job in California.
He started there, yeah.
Who's that?
Kevin Sumlin used to coach at Texas A&M. They got him there.
Neither one of the Arizona schools, California. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, you're good. Well, I was just going to say some other ones that I got on there. Billy Napier, you guys know who that is? He's head coach at Louisiana. Used to be
Tech?
No, just Louisiana Lafayette.
Okay, Lafayette.
Yeah.
The Raging Cajuns.
The Raging Cajuns. He makes $850K a year. This guy has coached under Saban. He's coached under Dabo Swinney. He's got the pedigree. Really good recruiter as well. Yeah, young guy.
That's important.
Yeah, that one is more so just kind of like me throwing that in there because like I covered him when he was at Alabama. I don't even know if there's any rumors of him going in there, but I was just like, hey, this would be a guy to look at,
My uncle.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
Right? Well, but I mean, he took Louisiana to the Sun Belt Championship game his first year there.
Yeah. How long has he been there?
I think like 2 years, maybe 2 years. I think. Yeah.
I remember covering
2-3 years.
Louisiana Lafayette and the New Orleans Bowl when I worked in New Orleans.
Yeah,
they were pretty good.
Well, and he's got some great mentors, Saban, Swinney,
exactly.
And it's all about recruiting. I mean, that's kind of what's turned Oregon around with Cristobal. He was a great recruiter, and so. Maybe you have to fill out the question, or something like that at your upcoming press conference, maybe. I don't know.
How about this? Mark Helfrich.
I think that'd be kind of interesting.
I think he's still with the Bears right now as the offensive coordinator, but he could
he's
redemption.
He's from Oregon. He's a Northwest guy. This is kind of West. No, it's close.
Talk about, and there's not a lot of pressure. I mean, he walked into a lot of pressure in that Oregon job. This one would be kind of his own thing,
I just thought of that.
The quarterback
not too
whisperer
bad, Bryan.
with Mariota, so.
There's some interesting ones. I got a list that goes on forever. But another one that I thought that was really interesting was Graham Harrell, the offensive coordinator for USC. Yeah. A lot of people saying Clay Helton because they think he's going to get fired and all that. I don't think Clay Helton jumps down to this job from there. But I think Graham Harrell is, a legit opportunity.
I know that name. Was he a quarterback somewhere?
Yeah, he was a quarterback at Texas Tech.
All-time leading passers under. He is also the wide receivers coach under Mike Leach too at Washington State for a little bit.
And so air raid,
offense,
real exciting offense,
good.
Crazy fun. Even if they suck, it's going to be a fun offense to watch. And I've heard a lot of people say if you're going to do kind of the similar thing that you've always done, or bring in whoever you're going to bring in, and if you're still not going to be that great,
at least score 1 million points.
Yeah, lose 56 to 70 or something crazy, 56, 59, 59,
be
56.
like Hawaii.
Exactly.
No,
that was another name I saw thrown out. Mark Anderson had tossed one in there of a list of Nick Rolovich.
Really?
Yeah.
What does he make in Hawaii? He's got to make at least.
He's not making much at all, actually. I don't know off the top of my head, but let me look it up real quick. But I think he was the lowest in the Mountain West, or one of the lower.
Wow. Jeez. That's terrible.
Yeah.
But those are some good names. Okay.
Yeah. So, it's some interesting stuff, but I type in Nick Rolovich, what pops up is, what is Nick Saban's salary? Let's see.
So, man, that'll be very interesting to see what they end up doing with that football gig.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, do you think they're going to, take their time with it after the season, or do you think they kind of want to get the ball rolling, with recruiting, obviously, and all that?
Well, I was at that press conference, and what Reed Francois said that she recognizes that there is that, the recruiting and trying to get somebody within due time. So that just means that they're going to go through a hiring agency. They're going to find somebody, and they're going to get them when they get them.
Yeah.
They don't have a deadline.
It's going to take some time. And for reference, Rolovich in 2017 was $400K. So it can't be that it's increasing.
He's broke.
Exactly, yeah, comparatively, right?
He's in a poorhouse.
Yeah,
in Hawaii.
In Hawaii, yeah. No, and it's because it's expensive out there, man.
$400K in Hawaii.
Milk is $10.
I know. I know.
Man,
it's
crazy.
This thing costs $7, a little sparkling water.
Yeah, it's wild. But the one other thing that kind of along those lines of the hiring process and stuff that stuck out to me was she was she's going to keep it under wraps. But she did that with the basketball hiring.
Yeah.
We didn't hear about TJ Otzelberger till like the day it was announced, and then all of a sudden it was like everyone freaking out, like, "Whoa, who is this guy?"
Yeah,
and so we were all scrambling trying to figure out that info.
Yeah.
So
She's
I
like
think
the Clippers.
right? Like I think this will be real interesting to kind of see how this plays out. A lot of people talking about her ties to UCLA and Jim Mora, her ties at Virginia Tech,
Honestly,
Beamer's son.
That's a Jim Mora Jr.
Yeah.
You mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, to me that's a good hire. I thought he was a good hire at UCLA. I was surprised that he didn't do better at that gig. But it seems almost like UCLA that's a tough place to win nowadays.
It is.
Which is surprising. UCLA? You can't get guys to come to Beverly Hills, Pauley, whatever. All right.
Well, let's switch gears to the ring and talk some Deontay Wilder knocking out Luis Ortiz with a single punch in the 7th round.
Yeah.
To reclaim the WBC heavyweight championship belt.
Man,
I know you're a big boxing guy, Brian.
Of course.
Break it down.
If you're in Las Vegas, you need to get up on boxing.
You were there, too.
Because Las Vegas is the fight capital of the world. I was there. I'm telling you, everyone that I spoke with after that fight was almost like me, like that Home Alone face, like, oh my God, like never seen anything like that. Our vantage point on Media Row he was right in front of us, like the knockout, like facing us. And when he hit him, he dropped like a sack of rocks.
Yeah.
A big dude, a big heavyweight, one single punch. Wilder probably landed 6 punches, it seemed like, in the entire fight. And that one shot, as soon as he hit him, it was like, oh, that's a wrap.
Yeah.
That's a wrap. Oh, I've seen some knockouts. And the only thing I could relate it to, and people, you can YouTube this or check it out, is Manny Pacquiao knocking out Ricky Hatton in that same ring, in that same arena like that. And there's a picture from the Review Journal. You can Google it. It looks like Ricky Hatton is asleep. He's literally in the middle of the ring, like laid back, planking.
Now I remember that fight.
You remember? Oh my
I actually watched that,
gosh.
like the lead up, the 24/7 thing leading up to it.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
Man, that was the fight was kind of terrible. He was losing. He didn't fight all that well. He said that he only needs to be, he's like, these guys got to be perfect for 12 rounds. I only need to be perfect for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You are correct, sir.
And that's the thing, like a lot of people said, like, Wilder was like losing the fight until that happened because he was being so patient, but it's like when you got it right like that, you can take your time. I mean,
Man, if I touch you with this thing right here, you're about to go to sleep, man.
Like,
oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
I want to watch it again because I don't know. It was just a perfect punch. He set it up nicely, kept throwing the left, made him move his arms open, right down the pipe.
pow.
Sugar.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wasn't there. You were there that night.
Yes.
That was one I wanted to see for sure because I figured there'd be some fireworks. But
Mike Tyson was in the house.
Yeah.
Mayweather was in the house. I don't know if you guys know who Big Boy is.
Yeah.
I took a picture with Big Boy. I met him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, not Big Boy from Outkast. I'm sorry. Big Boy at radio in LA.
Yeah, well, I know that Big Boy.
I was
too,
thinking
yeah.
you were talking about.
Yeah, no, I
was
know
like,
both.
damn, Brian. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to confuse.
Big Boy in the morning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Big Boy's like, he's got the most popular radio show in LA, talk show. Yeah.
He really does.
So no, but that was a good time. That was a good time. Met Muhammad Ali's ex-wife. How about that? That was pretty cool. So anyway, yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's talk about some Mayweather, man. Kind of shocking things on Instagram. Claims that he's coming out of retirement, working with Dana White with this UFC business. I don't know what it's really all about. It's kind of up in the air.
We gotta get you up on this.
Oh, I know UFC a little bit, but I just know Floyd is definitely not the guy who just step in the UFC ring because the guy cannot.
No.
I mean, all he can do is just get that chin up, and But Brian, you're close to Floyd. I mean, I don't know if you have any inside sources. Or
I do
anything.
actually. How about this? I had heard, and I wasn't gonna say anything, but his cousin, and his cousin Dewan, who's been with Floyd since the beginning. I ran into him at the Pacquiao fight, I think, with Thurman, or maybe it was the Canelo fight. But we were talking, and he was like, "Yeah, Floyd's coming." He was like talking to someone else about Floyd coming back, and I overheard. I was like, "Oh man, Floyd's coming back." This is like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't really believe it or whatever, but yeah, Floyd, he's been training. I got to get over to his gym and try to get there at nighttime. He's been training. But him coming back, Dana White, they have Zuffa Boxing. That's what it's going to be under Zuffa Boxing, not under the UFC.
Okay.
And there's actually a guy who actually fights under Zuffa Boxing whom I know as well, he just had a card in Canada, and you can look up, him on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. Cody Crawley, Triple C. Cody Crawley, he's an undefeated welterweight, and he's got a picture of him and Dana White. He was in the ring at the UFC's training facility, and he's like, yeah, I'm part of Zuffa Boxing now, and blah, blah, blah. This is like 2 or 3 months ago. So Floyd's going to end up doing something like that. I'm going to say he's going to fight Jorge Masvidal. Because Masvidal came out saying that he wanted to fight Canelo. Canelo's not going to fight him or whatever. Dana's like, ooh, that'd be great. Masvidal talks a lot of trash. He's super hot right now.
Yeah.
He thinks he can box. He's bigger than Floyd. He's not scared of Floyd. He'll go just like Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
He's got that.
He's got that attitude.
I
and
can
everything.
see that.
Yeah.
It sells some.
Write it down, folks.
No, that'd be interesting. I would love to see that. I mean, I've been like saying without any sourcing or anything like that Floyd was gonna come back eventually. But like I was laughing because when all that news came out, there was someone all over Twitter or whatever, be like, "Oh, Floyd's broke again." Like I was like, "Damn, man, I'm like get out of here with that." Man. But like I can't wait to see it if it actually does happen, and if he fights Masvidal, whoo.
Think about that.
If the lead up to that,
yes.
the fight, even if the fight's not that good, the lead up would be worth it.
Man, just think about this. If you're Floyd, I can come back and fight somebody who poses absolutely no threat and make $250 million.
Yeah.
Should I do that?
Like, why not?
I can go in there and get hit by somebody who's not gonna hit me hard. He's like fighting us.
Yeah. No flying knees in boxing.
No. I mean, and Jorge likes to punch. He's at one of those backyard brawlers. He fought with Timbo Slice. He gets down.
How he got his start and everything.
Yeah. Floyd's like, man, please, this dude. It's like fighting me or you. He's a complete amateur.
Yeah.
But it would sell.
Oh heck yeah.
$250. Come back and make $250 and half train. Really? Floyd's gonna turn that down?
Nah, not at all. Who would?
Man, you gotta be kidding me, man.
Yeah.
Sign me up, baby.
I think it'd be fun. It'd be fun to talk about leading up to it.
Yeah.
I mean, everything about it would be fun.
We gotta get you to like a boxing match, man. Or
can you kind of get me there, Brian?
Hook him up with the creds.
Yeah, we gotta hook you up.
I want to go. I want to go to a UFC event. That's like really on my. I know they're kind of pricey a little bit, but
they got one coming up.
I'll make it out there.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I got to get that into our calendar.
Yeah. Where they usually have like the MGM, right? The MGM.
T-Mobile.
Okay,
that's where all their stuff is.
Yeah.
That, but
Kumar Usman is fighting Colby Covington for the welterweight championship.
Okay.
And then Amanda Nunes, Nunes is fighting again on that card as well. It's going to be a really good. You remember Nunes? Like she knocked her one.
Yeah.
Man.
No one mess with her, man.
Whew.
Yeah, no, she's a freak.
Yes.
Did you get to cover like Anderson Silva when you were in the?
Funny you asked me that.
Yeah.
Of course I did. Yeah. I mean
that guy. I remember watching him like kind of growing up, and that guy, the Spider Man. That guy's considered the GOAT.
No, I agree. He was my favorite fighter by far. I can absolutely vividly remember he fought Rich Franklin. Is at Mandalay Bay. Is for the middleweight championship for the UFC, and I didn't even know who Anderson Silva was. I was just kind of watching it before I had to do like an anchor of the 11 o'clock show, and he grabbed him in a Thai plum and like just was like ragdoll him, throwing him all around the ring, like kneeing him. And Rich Franklin was like, he wasn't undefeated, but he might have been undefeated. He had won a bunch of fights in a row. And he looked like he was fighting against us, with Silva. He took his title from him, and I literally stood there in front of the cage. And I was like, oh my God, like this dude, I've never seen anything like this. Yeah. And then from there on, that's where he won the championship, his first title fight. And then I saw a bunch of fights after that. I met him. I got a chance to hold like his belt and stuff like. He was just a cool dude.
That's cool. Yeah, he seemed like it.
Yeah, no. So, man, the UFC was good then, and now it's different.
Would you say it's taken over boxing a little bit
No.
more? You're still.
No, of course not.
No, I will say, like, I've been to I think one UFC event since I've been out here. I think one, and then I've been to a couple boxing matches and stuff. And like, I grew up. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I grew up watching a little bit of boxing here and there. I watched more UFC. I was never like a big avid. Yeah, like growing up, I kind of watched a little bit more of it because it was like. That was like at its peak when it was really growing and stuff.
Yeah.
And so if I had to say, I was like kind of more of a UFC fan, but I was never like, big fight game guy. But I think like the atmosphere at a boxing match, like Bryan told me, like it's you can't beat it. You know, the atmosphere of it.
Big time fight. It's
Yeah, and so, but like going
Yeah,
into it,
close.
the first one I went to, I was thinking like, all right, it's gonna be underwhelming because this guy like pumped it up so much.
Yeah.
But like, nah, it lived up to the hype. Like it's crazy because you never know what's gonna happen at any given point, you know. So, I mean, obviously same thing with UFC, but it just felt different, you know.
Yeah, I always tell people this. It's like, okay, it's like going to the movies or going to a Broadway play. Like, for instance, you go to the movies, it's real relaxed, it's pretty cool, go see like a movie premiere. But then, like, say you and your girlfriend or whoever, wife, whatever, you're going to go see the Phantom of the Opera. What's that one play that's really, really big that everyone was watching?
Man, I am not
the one with the
ask.
rap. It had the rapping in it. It was like the Hamilton. You've heard of Hamilton?
I've heard of it, but I mean, I
You
couldn't
didn't know
tell
that
you.
Hamilton? You heard of Hamilton? No.
Hamilton
was like the biggest
wrong,
thing.
The wrong crowd here, bro.
No, it was. I've
Nah.
never seen it. It was like these people out here. They're like, man, I can't believe you've never heard of Hamilton.
No, I've heard of Hamilton. I just couldn't tell you anything about it.
I don't know anything about it. I just know that they rapped on it or something like that. But it was like a huge ticket to get. Like the line was wrapped around in New York City, like trying to get there. That's what like going to boxing. Okay, I put it like this. I went to the Ricky Hatton Floyd Mayweather fight. I walk in from downstairs. In the back, I'm standing next to Jay-Z and DJ Clue. Wow, oh, that's kind of crazy. I'm standing right next to him. I walk in. The first two people I see, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
You're not going to see them at a UFC event.
Nah.
Yeah.
That's
You know what I
probably
mean?
true, yeah.
Like Denzel Washington was at a box. I mean, he was at that same fight with Wesley
Well, I
Snipes.
remember the Pacquiao Mayweather fight. There was like a tweet of like at McCarran Airport, they were like, what are like 30 jets, private jets that were all parked, and you know they're all celebrities. But were you at that fight too?
Yes, I was here. Yeah, I was actually in Vegas at that time. I came back to go. Yeah, that was insane. The fight was.
The fight, yeah, I know exactly. But the hype, you know, leading up to, I remember just like everybody was like, "You going to watch the fight?" You know, this and that. Their watch parties and
There's nothing.
just
There's
not-
nothing like it when they
Yeah.
go ding ding and when you're walking, you see two guys walking to each other, man. Like, what's up? Like that's it, man.
Yeah.
That part was cool. Like, the one thing that stuck with me was the Manny the Pac Thurman fight, you know, and like just hearing people in there like chanting like Manny, like that was really cool.
Energy,
and like,
huh?
Yeah, and I like as I was hearing that, the thing that I was just thinking, I was like, man, like I could not imagine being in a ring. Like where it's like me and you, that's it, but you got all these
Millions
people chanting, and then you got people all around the world like watching and like going wild. I mean, it's crazy. And like as that moment was happening, I was going back to like times when I've been like, you know, with buddies, you throw like a fight party or whatever, and like I was just like, man, and like you're in that moment. Like it's way different than a team sport. Because it's just
So
like
different.
mano y mano, you and this dude, someone's walking out the loser. Like,
Yes.
man.
And that dude right there is trying to hurt me.
Yeah, well, and it's like the whole thing. What do they? You know, they always say in like football or every other sport, like, you know, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. But like that's like actually real in this sport. Like,
They are getting punched in the
yeah, you are
face.
actually getting punched in the face, and you have to come up with a plan. Like that part was pretty crazy. So I've enjoyed it. Like, I mean, I'm looking forward to diving into more of the fight game
Yeah.
and stuff being out here.
Man, yeah. Wait till you get to. I mean, that was a pretty good fight, pretty good atmosphere. Pacquiao fights are pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait till.
We'll get you in there, Field
Yeah, I
Producer
know. I
E.
wanna.
Field Producer
yeah.
E.
You guys are hyping this up right now. So.
Yes, Tyson Fury after the Wilder fight. Tyson
Yeah.
Fury is going to fight Deontay Wilder. They're going to have the second, the
okay.
rematch. That's
Yeah.
in Las Vegas. I want to say February 22nd.
That one I'm looking forward to.
That is
Big
going
time.
to be bananas.
That's another one. Like the lead up to it's gonna be great. Both of them like big personalities. I mean,
Oh, that's gonna
that'll
be.
be.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
good.
Yeah.
Mark it down.
Okay.
We'll see about it.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought this was a pretty fun topic to maybe discuss. You
man.
know, with obviously Vegas sports kind of growing and all that, you know, I feel like the NBA could be on the rise as the next professional sports team to come through. So if a team were to relocate, which team
wow.
would you guys want to see come to Vegas, or which do you think would thrive the most?
I was thinking about it before. It's tough. Like, so Brian, I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna let you go first, man.
All right, I'll go first if you want me
Yeah,
to.
I'm wondering
Like,
who you think.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I was like thinking, and I'm just like, I don't know logically like which one makes sense, you know. But like the ones that popped up that I've heard were the Kings and the Pelicans, and like the Pelicans, I don't think is happening now with Zion and just the young core that they have.
Yeah.
Obviously, he hasn't played yet and everything like that, but like. I'll be curious to see how that all develops. The fan base is kind of going to be real interested when that happens there. And then the Kings, it's like, all right, I could see it happening just because they were like the first one rumored to be trying to leave like way back when and all that.
And the Maloofs were.
Yeah. So like those are the two that I kind of default to, and like to me, honestly, if like I'm like the thing I kept going to was like they got to expand. Like everybody says, Seattle is going to get a team and Vegas is going to get a team. So like, why not expand? Get 2 teams. Boom.
Too much like right, as
yeah,
my grandma would
exactly.
say. It makes too much sense.
And that's the thing. I think it would be real interesting to see because like the Raiders coming here. I think it's still going to blow up with the Raiders coming here, but it's not Vegas's team. It won't be for a while.
Wow,
with the
imagine?
Knights. Yeah, like the Knights, it was built for them, Vegas born, all that. Imagine getting another one in basketball that was built for you, an expansion draft, everything that happens with that. I mean, that would be real interesting in a sport like basketball.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. I never even thought of that really.
Yeah.
Of them, the NBA expanding and having a team. Because Seattle deserves a team.
Yeah.
They deserve a team.
When you do them both at the same time.
Come on. And because you have to do 2 to make everything even. Mm-hmm. Seattle and Vegas? Are you kidding me?
Well, you saw the WNBA thrive, with the Aces, and
course.
the theory was, so many games, and this and that, the Knights have thrived, so it could work,
In basketball, I mean, this is a basketball town.
Yeah.
If hockey worked here, because it was their own, it was our own, as far as like being Las Vegans, it was our own team, so to speak, Vegas born. A basketball team in Las Vegas, I mean, the Summer League does well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they had the Las Vegas, whoever's, and they would follow the exact same model that the Golden Knights put out as far as like the way that they have kind of ingrained themselves in the community and the city and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
The blueprint is there. Mm-hmm. The NBA is looking, they know what the heck is going on here.
Yeah.
So.
And too, I mean, look at how well, just from like a pure like marketing standpoint too, of like the team, the players, all that. Like the Knights have done a great job of marketing their players and everything that. But I mean, for NBA, like those players are so much more visible.
They love Vegas
exactly, yeah. And like think about it, you noted Summer League, all right? Like how well that does. Okay, imagine when like real stars are coming on a nightly basis. Like what? That'd be insane.
Oh my goodness. You got me excited like thinking about it, honestly.
I get excited every time we talk about this stuff too.
Yeah. I was thinking a team, like it's probably never going to happen, but I think it would be smart. LA Clippers, man.
No, I agree.
Because they're trying to get their own stadium in Inglewood.
They're building, aren't they?
And I'm not sure. I think Ballmer's like still in talks about it.
Okay.
But
I'd be okay with the Clippers
because then they can establish their own identity because they're still like
and get them the hell out of LA because it's never gonna be your city. Never. I don't care what you do.
You're
never.
Right. You're absolutely
never.
Right.
And as big of a stadium as you want out here, in the desert.
Yeah.
Like
why not?
I think that would be perfect. But
yeah.
Oh, that would be.
Or Steve Ballmer's a Microsoft guy. He could just move the team up to Seattle as well. So it's a win-win for me either way if that happens.
You're happy no matter what.
Because the Sonics need. Because if whatever team goes to Seattle,
you got to be the Sonics.
Exactly.
Oh,
you got to
question at all.
Exactly.
It's like when the Kings were when they were rumored to come up there. They were so close.
They were.
I remember I went to a Sonics rally in 2012. Gary Payton was there.
Yep.
Sean Kemp was there. And they were just all hyping it up as like, bring our Sonics back, this and that. I wore my Kevin Durant Sonics jersey too. So it was like, there's nothing, they're not going to come up with a new team. That's for sure.
No,
so much history.
Peyton's always talking about the fact that he has nowhere for his jersey to hang in the rafters.
He refuses it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because, Oklahoma City Thunder are not the Sonics.
Nah.
They're the Oklahoma City Thunder. So the Sonics don't even have a home. Like Sean Kemp. They won a championship.
Yeah. No, it is crazy. That's why I think because the thing is like the whole. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know Seattle would kill it in terms of fan base, and they'd be making money and all that. But like the big thing with Vegas is everyone's like the money that they're gonna make and the way that it would blow up. So like, don't do the whole. Well, all right, we're gonna do Seattle because it's the right thing to do first, and then we'll go to Vegas and like wait on it. Do them both at the same time.
No, what you're saying is absolutely 1,000% correct. Mm-hmm. How about this? I'll name drop them out as well. I did a one-on-one interview with David Stern when he was retiring. This is in New Orleans. And he actually told me, he's like, his biggest regret of being a commissioner is that Seattle doesn't have a team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you want to check out some history about the Sonics, check out Sonicsgate on YouTube. It's a great documentary breaking down just how our team was stolen pretty much. It was a great background story and all that. So speaking of expansion or moving teams, let's talk about the Raiders,
Yeah.
They had a great opportunity to really solidify themselves in the wild card race, but no, They get smacked by 31 points to the Jets.
But
The
no.
Jets.
The Jets.
The Jets.
The Jets. Oh, it was
Yeah.
the Jets.
The Jets.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. That's crazy.
you know-
Well, at least Derek Carr played well. This guy.
Zing.
Oh, man. You're talking about his completion percentage, too, being one of the highest on the last episode
I
as
sure
well.
did. I mean, and I think he had a pretty high completion percentage in this one because it's not like all his balls weren't caught by somebody. I mean,
Yeah.
he threw 2 touchdown passes. You know, albeit one was to the other team.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, because I mean, it was 34-3 was the final score there.
He threw 1 touchdown pass. Excuse me.
No, 34-3.
Yes, he threw 1 touchdown pass.
Oh, to the opposing team.
Yes.
Yeah. No, yeah. It was, man. Like, I was at home watching that.
That was terrible.
And I was just like, dang, man. Like, the first thing that popped in my head was like, wow, like, okay, you just blew a really good opportunity.
Of course.
Like, and again, it's the NFL. Like, everybody is in the NFL. So, like, nothing's a given, which obviously was proven there.
You knew that was going to
But,
happen.
like, man, you really blew that opportunity. Everybody's talking about you doing, like, you know, that, oh, look at the Raiders. And then, like, I mean, that was bad, man.
Perfect sound effects. But
Yeah.
you know what, though? I mean, I wish we would have given predictions and gone back on it because I was saying all week during my sportscast, it's a trap game.
Yeah.
You know, like I know, it is completely different when someone is playing with expectations.
Oh, yeah.
As are the Golden Knights this year. The expectations for that team entering this season were as high as they ever had been for that franchise.
Yeah.
In the whole 3 years. You know what I mean? So, but the expectations for the Raiders were built up for them to win that game. Oh, everyone's picking the Raiders. They're going to win.
Exactly.
I kind of feel like I knew they were going to lose that game because that was a tough one.
Yeah.
But
It
not
was-
get beat like that.
Nah, not like that. And that's like one thing I will give Gruden credit for is like pulled his guys. Was like, nope, we don't have it today. We're not doing this.
Sure did. In
You
like
know,
the third quarter.
Yeah, he's like, we're not playing this game. You know, he went there, threw Glenn on out there. I mean.
And this
Man.
guy, remember when did you watch the game and see like that very first series when they threw Mike Glennon in there?
Nah.
Yeah, he fumbled the snap.
Oh,
Like,
I didn't even. I was watching, but like partially. by
He
that
fumbled the
point.
snap. I wasn't watching either,
Yeah.
but just that series I happened to be watching at that point in time. And of the 3 snaps in that particular, when he first came in that particular series, he fumbled 2 of them. He
Yeah.
fumbled the very first one under the center. They put him in shotgun the very next play, fumbled that,
Yeah.
and then finally they actually got a handoff off.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm scared of that Jets defense, man.
Jeez.
But no, I mean, in all seriousness, though, like, when you hear guys talk about it a lot, like, you know, I think it was, man, I'm blanking on dude's name. Guy that played at LSU that works at ESPN now.
Oh, look, Booger.
No, not Boog.
Oh, the other one, Mark Spears. man.
Marcus Spears, yeah.
He's great.
He kind of, a while
Great.
ago, I love him, man. His energy and everything, he's great. He's just real. Like,
Man, I love
love
listening
that.
to him, but
Love
yeah, go
that.
ahead, yeah.
But like he was saying, I forget like in what context or what team it was about, but he said, he's like, you know, sometimes like you just don't have it for whatever reason. Like this was a game they had to obviously have, but like sometimes the energy's not there. He said, you know, coaches used to tell him like, hey man, it doesn't feel right like in warm-ups or whatever. He's like, I need you to like get the team up, like say something to the team or whatever. This just looks like it could have been one of those things. Like, I mean, you're traveling all the way to the East Coast. You know, again, you got the game coming up the following week against the Chiefs. You know, again, all these
Perfect
people are
trap
talking
game.
about you. Yeah, and it's like maybe they just you know, they did not have it.
Yeah, and the week before, they barely beat a team who had 0 wins
Which you
at
would think,
home.
yeah, you would think that would be like a wake-up call. Like, hey, you know, we almost got beat by the Bengals. Don't get beat by the Jets.
You would think. One would think.
Yeah.
Well, let's give a prediction on this game against the Chiefs. Big game. Chiefs are, I believe they're
10
7.
points?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 9.5, 10.
All right.
Man.
I'm going to call an upset right here.
I want to,
I think, because Tyreek Hill isn't playing, or is he? I
No,
think
he is.
He is?
Yeah, he
Haney
practiced.
is good.
Oh, man. I want to say, though, I'm
He
going
didn't like to hear
to say
that.
24-21 Raiders.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to say they're going to win, but they're not. I don't think so. I think it'll be like I don't know about an exact score. I think maybe like a 10 to 14 point game.
Yeah, you know what? I think that
I hope they prove me wrong though.
me too. If the weather's terrible, the Raiders lose 2017.
Okay, I got to ask a question then. Why if the weather's terrible?
Why
Like why is that your prediction if the weather's terrible?
if the weather's terrible, Kansas City doesn't score more points.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, did you hear the thing today about like Jack Del Rio saying that Derek Carr doesn't play well in cold weather?
Yeah, they talked about that in
Jets.
Jets.
Did you hear his response? It was funny.
What did he say?
He was like laughing. He was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, you know, Jack was there with me too for a while, but it's all my fault." Like, you know, he's saying like Jack Del Rio, it's on you too, man. And I just think it's funny, man. Like old coaches going and like saying stuff like that, like.
He said that Jack was in the.
Yeah, he was like, you know, hey, Jack was there in the cold, like, because Jack was his head coach at the time too, and he's like, yeah, it's all my fault, Jack. Like, I just thought it was funny that he said that, but the weather will definitely.
Actually said that?
No, yeah, Derek Carr said like, yeah, you know, it's all my fault, but Jack was there with me too. Yeah. I thought that cracked me up, but
That's funny.
Yeah, man, the whole weather thing definitely affect the Chiefs. I mean, in terms of the running game, that plays well for the Raiders.
It does. Yeah. It absolutely does.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, well, it's still a 4-way tie for that final wild card spot, so they're not out of it yet, you know, but...
If they win the game, they're tied for first place in the AFC West.
I still think they figure out a way to make the playoffs. I think they get in as a wild card.
If they get
no
in
matter
the
what
playoffs,
happens in this game.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Because the AFC is horrendous.
Yeah.
Horrendous. It is so bad.
I think
the Patriots and not even the Patriots.
You put the Ravens
Baltimore
ahead.
Ravens,
And
the Patriots.
Yeah.
But you know what? Until they get knocked off, for real, like the Patriots.
Yeah,
still,
it's got to be.
Yeah, and then Baltimore, even though Baltimore beat them, but then after that, everyone else stinks.
It's different in the playoffs. Like, it's one thing to beat a team in the regular season, and like, yeah, don't get me wrong, the Pats, like, we're up for the game. They're going to try and beat them and all.
Course.
But like, in the playoffs, it's a totally different level. Tom Brady's a different level. Belichick's a different level. The Pats are a different level. Like, and you got a handful of guys that haven't really been there, done that.
Of course.
But you got some guys that have, and I'll be really curious to see what it's like.
Yes.
They're already talking Super Bowl.
And the only thing, you heard that Earl Thomas?
Yeah. He was like, when we get to the Super Bowl, whoever we play, which I love to hear. Like, be honest, man. I hate it when people give you the canned answers of like, hey, if you think you're going to get there, then say it, put it out there and prove it.
I don't want you playing on my team if you don't feel like that.
Exactly.
But the thing is that the only thing that says that maybe the Baltimore Ravens will get to the Super Bowl are the fact that if there's one team that always plays the Patriots well, Harbaugh knows what he's doing against Belichick. No matter who his quarterback is, whatever, they always play well against the Patriots. Yeah. And they did this year. They've done it in the playoffs. They're like the only last team to probably go to Foxborough and beat them in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So if anyone's going to beat them, it will be the Ravens.
Well, I'd be real curious to see what the second game is like.
Oh, man.
After you get some adjustments in, you got tape on what they do against you, Bill Belichick. Whew, that is not a guy I want to bet against.
No.
Like, even with as crazy as it's been with Baltimore and everything, like, that's not a dude I'm betting against.
Yes, whatever you do well, he's taking away.
Well, we saw it last year with Kansas City. You know, they came in, won at Foxborough during the regular season, and then the AFC Championship game, it just was a whole other ball game. Mahomes was kind of limited, you know, as far as their offense wasn't as explosive as we've seen it before. So
they came back.
Yeah.
That game? That was a good game. That was a good game.
Oh, dude, it was wild.
That was a really good game.
Yeah. I can't wait for playoffs.
Well, let's keep it on the gridiron and talk some high school football. Bishop Gorman, man.
Man.
These guys behind Operation Football, you know, they've been covering the whole football season all year, you know. Bishop Gorman, they're the juggernaut, you know, this whole town.
They're a national brand.
No state title now and they've won it for the last 10 years, losing to Liberty in overtime.
It's crazy.
I mean, you guys have been covering it all year.
I have never seen that much hate piled on a high school football team after they get beaten. Like, it was insane, man. People were going after him. The whole sending out, like, gifts of, like, you know, ding dong, the wicked witch is dead, like, all this stuff. And I'm like, wow. Yeah. Like, which I get it. I totally understand. Like, I was in a public school. We played against St. Bonaventure, who was a private school that recruited. We always lost them. And it was like, when they did lose, everyone was like, yes. You know, so I get it. But, like, wow. Yeah, that was wild, though, too.
They're still high school kids.
Yeah, exactly.
They're still high school kids. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're high school kids.
Yeah.
But you're right. Las Vegas has had a hate-hate relationship for the most part. I hate to even say it like that, but have had a hate-hate relationship with Bishop Gorman in basketball. Not just football, but in basketball as well. I remember doing stories on them back in 2000, I want to say 5, when DeMarco Murray was on the basketball team.
Yeah.
And that was the year they won that first state championship. I was at that game. But yeah, they had hate for the basketball team. Like, oh, you guys are recruiting guys. They got a kid that played on the team that was Brazilian, ended up playing at BYU. Like, how did they get this kid? Blah, 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 blah. So I feel you. I didn't see a lot of the hate, but I know it was on there.
And like with that, I'm like, all right. Like I mean, when you win 10 straight state championships, like something's got to change. You got to mix it up. Yeah. That's debate for a totally other day.
Yeah.
But like, way to go for Liberty, man. I mean, they were 0-5 throughout the whole year. I even saw on Twitter, I think it was the 702 high school football account.
Yeah.
I think they're doing their.
Big up to them dudes.
Yeah, they're all over the place, man.
Yeah.
And I think that they were doing like weekly rankings.
Okay.
And they always had Liberty there, number 2. And everybody always gave them so much like lip every time.
Really?
Like, throughout this whole 0-5 start. And it's like, well, hey, where are you guys at now? Because like throughout that process, I looked it up. Just so I got this one right. In that span, Liberty played the number 1 team in Arizona.
I remember.
Also the number 10 team in Arizona.
Chandler?
They also played the number 2 team in California, the number 4 team in California, and the number 4 team in Hawaii. 4 of the teams that they played in those first 5 games were in the top 75 nationally.
Yeah,
nationally.
Of course.
Like,
Man,
that's how you prepare yourself for a team like Bishop Gorman.
You know what's crazy about that? Yeah, I mean, they had played really well. You knew that they were battle tested going into this game.
Yeah.
On your paper right there, does it say anything about someone in our sports department predicting that they might win that game?
No, I don't think it does. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, look, I'll come out and say it. I thought it was gonna be a blowout, and I thought Gorman was gonna kill him.
Yeah, and what did I think?
You thought it was gonna be a good game. I don't think, I'm not even lying. I don't remember you saying that they were gonna win. But like, I'll give it to you.
I
don't remember you saying it.
I really think they can win this game. I had a strange feeling. I think they might win this game. Is kind of what I was saying. You're like, no, it's gonna be a blowout. But yeah, I wasn't shocked.
Yeah.
And mainly because of what you said. I knew that they had played those teams.
I knew that they had. Yeah.
And I figured that they were getting beat and whatever. And then when I saw how they were beating the snot out of everybody here in Vegas when they came back, I was like, okay, those teams that they played were really good, and we know they're really good. That's why they played like that.
Yeah.
Because they came back to Vegas and were just hitting over the head.
I saw like a thing. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was in one thing that I was looking at today. I think that they've outscored their Nevada opponents 376 to like 40 something.
That sounds right.
Like insane, insane, man.
They were beating the snot out of people when they came back here. So I was like, okay, they're gonna give Bishop Gorman a run for their money.
Yeah. And they're not a one-trick pony, man. This next game event against Bishop Minogue.
Yeah.
Right? Bishop Minogue. I screwed that one up the first time. I think they're going to get him. Big time.
Man, and I made this analogy, and I was proud of myself for saying this. That win over Bishop Gorman was exactly like the Miracle on Ice.
Yeah.
Because people remember that win, and everyone remembers that win, but that's not the state championship game.
Yeah. That's the biggest win
in the
last decade, at least, in high school football.
So, man, but you still have to go win 2 more games.
Yeah. No, that's the thing too. Like getting your team like resetting after that.
How do you do that?
Yeah, but I think again, they're not one trick pony. Like these dudes are.
Yeah, you gotta finish it out. I feel for them so much because I mean for that team, I hope that they finish it out.
Me too.
Me too. Man.
Yeah. Well, because the thing that'll be real interesting is if they do beat this next team coming up here, then we got an all Vegas championship over at Sam Boyd Stadium on Saturday, December 7th. I'll be there.
Highlights here. Yeah, I'm going to go watch the game too. That'd be sweet.
Cool. All right, boys. I think that wraps it up for episode 3. Did it. Good job.
Yep.
Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back here next week. And yeah, let's do it.
Beyond the 3.